Masjid Al Iman are tired of all acts of hate and prejudice, violence and abuse, receiving so much media attention, including book and movie deals, while the good deeds of the unnoticed and received hardly any praise. So they have come together to create a book that promotes those positive acts. The book, titled 365 Plus Acts, is a public open book where anyone is invited to submit their tales of good deeds to inspire others to do the same. Sheikh Musa Drama is here to speak more on what else is there to be accomplished for this book. Welcome to the set, Sheikh.
Thank you very much. I'm blessed to be here.
So right now we're in the holy month of Ramadan. Yeah. I was hoping if you could give us some background on Ramadan. What is Ramadan? And then we can tie that into the 365 plus acts for the year.
Absolutely. Ramadan, in a nutshell, is a month of equality. You see, the commandment came and said Muslims should fast the whole month of Ramadan so that you will test the experience of the poor, being hunger, being thirst, being tired, being without a lot of resources. So now, from sun up to sundown, we're all equal in terms of not eating, not drinking, not doing the normal, ordinary, permissible things during the day. In a nutshell, that is Ramadan.
So it's sacrifice.
It is a sacrifice, and it is also to test the experience, year-round experience of the poor. You see, sometimes we tend to forget, you know, the luxury lifestyles we have, no matter how insignificant it may seem to some of us. But this is a great deal to many New Yorkers who don't even have very basic necessities of life. So Ramadan reminds you of the importance of being equal to your fellow human beings.
Tying this back to the 365 plus book, yeah. Can you tell me how did this come about and what are the goals of the book?
Absolutely. This came about because we are so frustrated. We're sick and tired of having our families invaded with sex and violence over the all forms of media. Now, you cannot tell me, I cannot tell you how many good deeds are taking place in the last 24 hours in the Bronx or New York City. But every time a child does something, whether it's a bringing gun to school or joining gang members or whatever, it is overexposed. So now people are copying what media are allowing them to copy, which is violence and sex.
Do you think it's just, as you said, the media sometimes tends to put a spotlight on the negative things versus the positive things? Do you think that that's just a social norm, or is it the trend of where things are going?
Well, I will answer that by saying, look at what happened in the 60s. People were having sex open. People were using alcohol. People were doing all kinds of things. Today, in some of our communities, over 60% of the children being born, they're being born out of a single parent. People no longer getting married, except the gays and lesbians. But, you know, straight couples not getting married anymore. They believe that they can do everything, have all these children without really tying the knot because of the legacy that is promoted during the 60s and 70s. So now, 10, 20 years from now, we're going to be witnessing our self-destructive experience right now. People like us saying there are positive steps that we can take as parents, as community leaders, as ordinary individuals, such as promoting positive acts that is taking place every day, but nobody pay attention to them.
Can you share with me some positive acts that we in the media might have overlooked in the last 24 hours or even in the last 7 days?
Well, I can only tell you what I know because since it's not publicized, nobody knows it. But what is happening, you know, I run an Islamic center in the Bronx.
Okay.
And you know that for the past maybe since 1948, the most challenging relationship has been the Arabs and the Jews, or the Muslims and the Jews. So this thing becomes so little now. Most of the world problems can be traced back to the relationship between the Muslims and the Jews. what we're doing since last year was to build a synagogue right next to our mosque. Today you come to our center. There's a mosque, Muslims worship there, and there's a synagogue, the Jewish people worship there. Side by side on the same roof as a family, praying to the same God. Unheard of in a relationship between Muslims and Jews. So these are the stories that need to be publicized so that when a crazy man or woman goes out there and say, oh, I don't like Jews, I don't like Muslims, I don't like Catholics, then you say, no, guess what? There are many people who are not like you, who don't share the same feeling, because if you go to Parkchester, you go to other areas, they're working together, they're eating together, and they're worshiping together. So that people can say, you know what, I can copy that. That is peace. And I'm tired of violence. I'm tired of hate being pushed. I'm tired of being told that I cannot get along with my next door neighbor. This is the reason why this book is so important. As you said earlier, anybody can submit a story. Just inspire us. Let families can sit down and read something that moves them. Otherwise, the media will continue to promote what they would copy, which it turned out to be a deadly, media-promoted situation. And we don't want to do that now.
So, Sheikh, where can people go to submit stories and also to read what has been posted?
Absolutely. What we're doing right now, actually, we are in a process of having a website built so that this website becomes the central depository of these stories. In the meantime, you can email me your story or the story of anybody that you know that people need to know, and we'll make sure that it will be part of the compilation of this book.
And where can we email you at?
They can email it at info@iccna.org. info@iccna.org.
And is there any format that the story has to be in? Can it be a paragraph? Can it be 5 pages? Or what is the specific format that the submitted material needs to be in?
Yeah, we prefer, the language to be really a youth-driven language. We don't want a story that really kids cannot connect to it, because the main idea for this is that parents sit down with their children and read about positive story, so that whoever writing it, it makes sure that you have kids in mind. And maybe not too short, but we don't want a whole complete book. So maybe maximum 2-3 pages is fine, so that at least they can read it and before they go to bed or before they go to work. So 2 to 3 pages fine, and but make sure that when you write it, have children in mind.
So this book is more of a virtual book rather than a printed, ink and paper book.
Actually, it will be both.
Okay.
Because right now, you cannot have ink and paper book without the virtual book. Because the virtual book will travel farther and wider, and so we're doing both at the same time.
Okay, so if people want to get more information about this project and any other projects that you're working on, where can they log on to?
Right now, they can log on to our Masjid website, which is masjidaliman.org.
Okay.
masjidaliman.org, or they can call me.
Okay, and your phone number is?
My phone number is 718-829-5555. 718-829-5555.
Thank you. And once again, can you give us that email for if people are interested in submitting their good deeds and adding to your collection of good deeds, not only here in the Bronx, but here in the world? What's that email again?
Absolutely. The email is info@iccna.org. info@iccna.org.
Thank you, Sheikh, and all the best to adding to your collection of 365 plus good acts.
Thank you very much, and we're waiting for your story too.
Okay, I hope to submit something.
All right.